What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Keeping It Real podcast, where every week we talk all things movies and TV. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined as always by my co-hosts, Jack, Calvin, and Reese. Today's the spoiler-filled review of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Episode 3, The Power Broker. Eager to investigate the plans of the Flag Smashers, Bucky and Sam turn to Helmut Zemo, the man who single-handedly took down the Avengers in Captain America Civil War, for information on how this rebel group has got their hands on the famed super soldier serum. So, guys, 3 episodes in, I'm enjoying where this is going, but Jack, what did you think of the series midpoint?
I thought it was good. I'm to the point now where I'm so bought in by all this stuff. They could just be sat on a bus going to Madripoor and I would have watched it and loved it. I did have some issue with just the pacing of it. But overall, I thought it was a solid midpoint. I just thought that the whole Madripoor thing, even though it's like, I'm so glad that they've gone there, and I thought it was really cool. And I think it's going to be interesting if they incorporate it more into the wider MCU. But I just think that it kind of felt like Zemo was like, we're going to Madripoor, and they were like, yeah, and then they were just there, and there was no lead into it. It was just like a snap of the finger, bam, we're there. Like maybe it should have had more build up, but that was really my only issue with it.
You want like a Frodo and Sam journey all the way to Madripoor?
Yeah, we've not got time for that.
We saw them on the jet.
40 minutes. Yeah, they got on a plane.
A nice plane, yeah.
Yeah, it turns out that Zemo's fucking minted.
He has to be a Baron, doesn't he?
Well, yeah. So they reveal he is Baron Zemo, Sokovian royalty. That sort of changed my perception of him from Civil War, which I guess it kind of made sense because he got his hands on some, he was globetrotting and got his hands on some pretty effective equipment in Civil War. But I sort of liked it.
Plumber.
Well, yeah, I sort of liked it in Civil War. Where, he was special forces, but he seemed like maybe not on every man, but someone not on that level of being able to take down the Avengers. And I quite like that. Also, this sort of changed that for me.
It also speaks more that, like, if he was royalty usually do have to serve in the army or some sort of way of that. So it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. What did we think of Madripoor? Because that's where the majority of this episode is set. I was getting serious John Wick vibes.
I said that when I was watching it. I was like, this could be a scene in John Wick.
I was expecting everyone to start trading coins and stuff. And
yeah, it was very like John Wick / cyberpunk.
Yeah, it makes sense. Derek Kolstad, who wrote John Wick, did write this episode.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of,
loves his neon.
Makes sense.
I think that's where the episode fell short for me, though. Like, this so far is my least favorite of the entire 3.
Really?
I still liked it. I still think it was good overall. But yeah, my main reason was going to Madripoor. Like, I enjoy that they're sort of expanding the world, but the place just for me didn't feel fully fleshed out to just go there, and it's everything and everyone in it seemed a bit like a caricature. And I was watching it, and I was like, "This is like John Wick land," which obviously makes sense now that the person wrote John Wick. But yeah, I just felt that they were trying to, if they want me to, like the last 2 episodes, they've done so much legwork on creating a real visceral, sort of realistic human experience for these characters, and now they're trying to like immediately make me buy into this neon-soaked, drenched, everyone's holding a gun in this place like an outlaw type. I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I do like the place, but maybe with Jack, maybe I wanted to lead into it a bit more. Not in the show, but maybe they should have hinted at Madripoor earlier on in the MCU, or maybe they just only had the idea to put it in there now. But I think that's my main reason of where this episode falls short for me. It was asking a bit too much of me to believe in a place that it's real in this world after coming from the other 2 episodes. Too much of a tonal change.
Okay. I liked the setting. I thought it was cool. Like, I loved those like seedy underground fictional places and stuff like this. So I enjoyed that. What did catch me off guard was just Sharon Carter also just being there. Big coincidence.
Having a complete personality change.
Yeah, it felt a little bit forced.
Also, I think it's so weird that at no point, like over the years since Civil War, people were like, oh, Sharon Carter. Maybe we should give her a pardon too. We gave literally everyone else a pardon. They just forgot about it. Like no one was like, "Oh."
She didn't punch Thanos, so
yeah. I kind of feel like there should have been like an end credit scene in one of the movies, just like I don't know, like Falcon like eating a bowl of Cheerios, and then he just like drops a spoon. He's like, Sharon. It felt like their interaction felt like running into like an ex-girlfriend for me. Like when he runs into
Awkward,
it, he's like, oh my god, hi. Oh, so this is where you've been. This is nice.
So I'm pretty sure like Sharon was she did disappear in the blip. And then I just assume when, everyone comes back from that, I guess forget about the Sokovia Accords, but no, they're still pretty pissed that she stole that shield. But
yeah, I thought it was a little bit too convenient that she was just there in front of them.
Yeah.
And the way they got on those motorbikes, I was like, okay, we're going to get like a big long chase scene, and they just ended immediately just so they can meet her.
Yeah.
Like I get that. I understand that her personality change. I fully back 100% because she feels so hard done by everything that's happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she says something about Captain America, like seeing a different side of him now, because everything she did for him has sort of got her in this big mess because she believed in the symbol so much.
Yeah, she was like that.
So I did like it.
A joke, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I did like at the start of the episode, with Zemo, that they just, Bucky just broke him out immediately.
I was very confused because it happened so quickly. How did he get like the card in the book?
I have no idea about that, but
yeah,
that's what I thought.
I was like, have I missed something?
I said to Calvin, I was like, did he just have that?
Yeah.
Like waiting for an opportunity to use it, or did Bucky give it to him? Or
yeah, I liked how Bucky was still using his sort of espionage tactics and his questionable methods because that's all he knows. I just really enjoyed that, and Sam being like, "What the hell is he doing?" Especially in the bar fight scene in Madripoor. Like, Jesus Christ, this guy's still got some darkness in him.
Still got
that was my favorite. I think that was my favorite part of the episode when he has to pretend that he's still the Winter Soldier. And I think it just shows like how ingrained it all is in him. Like he didn't even he was completely unfazed. It was just completely automatic. I thought it was sick.
What I liked most about this episode was like while Sam and Bucky are the ones who got him out and went to him for help, it's because of Zemo's money and his underground connections. He's very much the one in charge of what's happening, and like he's prodding them at every turn. Really. When he requests that Bucky pretend he's the Winter Soldier, he is reluctant to do so, and you can tell he's hating every second of it. But
yeah, Zemo's loving it. I don't know where Zemo is going to go now, because at the moment there seems to be like you said he's in charge. He was obviously manipulating Sam and Bucky in some way to his own advantage.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We have seen the MCU change villains in a sort of way to be more sympathetic. So I don't know if he'll act as like a constant informant character because of his wealth, because of his influence and how much information he has. Is he going to be someone that when things go a bit south, they can be like, damn, we've got to get to Zemo. I don't know. I would quite like him. He'll do something to betray them, but then in the future, characters will be forced to go back and seek help from him. I quite like that. And I like him having that control over the characters. I think it's a really good way of keeping him in the MCU for the long run without turning him back into a fully fledged villain.
Yeah, I just assumed that. I know it's been rumored online, but so I thought this was the way they're going, that they are going to set up the Thunderbolts, which is like the group of villains. Is it kind of like Marvel's Suicide Squad in a way?
Don't really know anything about it.
I don't really know anything about them.
It's set up by General Ross, and so we've got like Zemo, Taskmaster. I know Abomination is still technically running around somewhere in this universe or in prison.
Well, he's going to be in She-Hulk, isn't he? So
yeah. So I just assumed that they are going to go that way and set up that team. So that's where Zemo will operate as probably the leader of that.
Yeah, I quite enjoy that. Just constant villains.
But in that rendition though, isn't General Ross the Red Hulk, or is he just
I'm
'Cause
not
that means
too
that he'd have to
sure.
become Red Hulk at some point. With it,
I don't think they're going to turn him into Red Hulk at any point.
I'd back it.
So
Yeah, William Hurt hasn't been in it enough to warrant that.
no,
I don't
he's
think.
coming back in Black Widow, isn't he? He's there for a bit.
Yeah.
Which maybe
I like
set up
what they're doing with
Taskmaster,
him now, though.
Yeah, he's got a good role. Pop in now and again just to tell them all off.
In terms back to Zemo's role, instead of doing all that stuff we just discussed, maybe they'll go really off piste and turn him into a dance icon, because his moves in that episode.
I was saying,
incredible.
I was like, I can't believe we're in Madripoor. You're not going to show me any like mutant doing weird shit. And then he started dancing, and my girlfriend was like, "There you go, there's your move."
That's all I need.
Yeah,
because it's 100% in there to be a meme.
Oh yeah, they know what they're doing. They also did one of my favorite things you do in those kind of like edgy movies, where she's talking about her art, and she's like, "Yeah, I've got the genuine article," and they're like, all the pieces of art in museums are like fake. Like that happens in like too many films, and I'm like, is this true?
Yeah, constantly,
is this something that none of us know?
I'd be surprised.
You know, I also love that towards the end of the episode, because we were saying that the flag smashers like don't seem that bad. Like their intent, and like even then they were like, we want to help all these children, and it's like, oh yeah, they're making a good point. You know, they're being, you know, they seem quite reasonable. So to just negate all that, they have them randomly blow up a building.
Yeah. I was a bit,
but be like, remember, they're bad guys.
Yeah,
like,
that was strange,
jarring.
I'm interested to see where that's going to go, though, the implications, because that character is her name Carly
Morgan.
It did seem like the callousness of leaving behind people in a building. I can get behind someone killing someone if they're trying to kill you, but those people were tied up, unarmed, and then she blew up the building, and then I thought, oh, was that an accident? And then she's like, no. And even the guy with her is a bit like, I don't really agree with this.
Yeah, I think the pressure is like,
I'm interested to see where the show's going to go now, because that is such an irredeemable act. So to try and get you back on the lens of sympathizing with her, they're going to have to they've got so much they've given themselves so much legwork, because now I just think maybe she is a villain. Like, even though she's been like, you've seen her like lose someone who we don't really know who it was or whatever, or be nice to people and give them things and do things for a good cause, but then go and set people on fire who are tied up, no matter how oppressive they are, that makes you a villain.
If her origin story is just that her parents died, I'll be pissed. Because, you know, that happened to a bunch of them, and they're superheroes, so she got no excuse.
They'll often do that in stuff like this, though, where the villain, their motivations are very, you can sympathize with them and see where they're coming from. Go, maybe they have a point. Maybe they're not so bad, and then they'll just blow some people up, and you're like, oh no, they're bad.
Yeah, it's like,
so, I'm still not sure what they're actually trying to say.
I feel like it's going to be her. I think she's going to like slowly lose her mind as it goes on. I think, and she's going to end up going a bit mad.
Okay.
You know, with like this kind of, not power she's got, but, you know, this influence she's got.
Yeah.
I think she's going to take it too far. And even the people with her, like that guy in the car with her at the end, I reckon he's going to be like, that's a bit much.
Yeah, speaking of people,
I think she'll come too.
Yeah.
I think by the end she's going to realize she's done everything wrong, but she's still going to have to go to prison for it, and then she's going to be a character in the future somehow. I can see that happening. Maybe she'll be in the Thunderbolt crew, or whatever they're called.
Maybe. Speaking of people who are going mad with power, we don't get a lot of John Walker in this episode, but you can see he's on edge, and I think he's getting angry with the maybe lack of influence that he does actually have, and he thinks doesn't have a lot of
who
authority.
I am?
Yeah,
it's like,
I do, and I don't care.
You're Captain America, mate. You're not Captain Germany. You don't give a shit about you over there. You've done nothing for them.
That as well, because he is just a guy with a shield, and I think that we were talking about it last week about him getting his hands on the serum, and I think this is one of those points where it's gonna, in his head, he's like, I need that serum to actually enforce some power on these people, because he's just getting nowhere with what he is currently.
I think that scene was just, he he's only in it a little bit just because that scene served its purpose so well. It's just giving you another glimpse that he's slipping, and it's pushing him further and further up to, the wrong path.
Yeah, and then we find out from the so they find the creator of the super soldier serum, and we find there's 20. Was it 20 vials out there?
20,
yeah. So I mean, someone's got to get their hands on them at some point or another.
Yeah,
definitely
I really
setting up.
They also retconned it, didn't they? So now not retconned. This new super soldier serum doesn't make you massive like it did to Steve.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone can just jab it in, and that's why none of them look like absolute monsters.
They don't have the budget for personal trainers on the show.
Couldn't be bothered.
It doesn't change your appearance.
Yeah, the whole Mad Doctor thing I really didn't buy, though. I hated the delivery of the line where he's like, I was a guard. Yeah. Oh, that's just so cheesy and out of place in an otherwise quite serious show. Give us like a Mad Doctor with more of a different sort of compass to look at. Like that is always the way. They're always like, oh, I'm playing God, I am a god.
Yeah,
no, you're not.
Simple, lazy.
Especially just looking at him, because he just didn't look like, he had a very forgettable kind of face. Like, I expected to see this guy who was like, who looked like a Mad Doctor, but he just looked like some bloke.
We don't want it to look too far.
Yeah, but like he just looked
even more
mental. Like a guy who hadn't slept in a couple
like Doc
of days.
Brown.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
just walks in, he's got 2 vials in his hand with smoke coming out of him.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Zany glasses.
So Zemo Zemo kills the Doctor before he reveals what seems to be a vital piece of information. So
I think that obviously speaks into Zemo's main motivation, where he's like, I want to get rid of the Winter Soldier program, but there's obviously, I think 100% there's more going on under the surface, and I really wouldn't be surprised if Zemo turned out to be the power broker himself.
I was just about to ask.
And I wouldn't be surprised by that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not him either. I can see them going to add another villain, but I think the way they're setting it up at the moment, it would be quite interesting if Zemo was with them but secretly had the upper hand this whole time.
Yeah, I think for this power broker reveal to actually make any impact, it would have to be someone we already know.
Yeah. And it's just like how he was introduced at the start of it's just how he was introduced at the start of the episode, where he's behind this glass panel, and that just rang out like Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal Lecter, who is also someone who is locked up, but he has influence on people outside. So I could see them going down the route of Zemo even being able to manipulate all this stuff from within his cell, because he has the resources to do it outside.
Yeah, I just thought as well, because I was like, if they are going to reveal who this power broker is in this episode, then I don't think it would have mattered too much who it is, but because they are building it up as such a looming threat, and it's going to be such a reveal, it would make sense for it to be Zemo, if not someone. I did see that theory online, but I don't know. Sharon Carter, that interesting of a character to.
Yeah, they're clearly trying to make her more interesting, and they by giving her this new personality. They're doing the same to her they did to Aquaman. They make her a bad girl.
Yeah, but she's got reasons to do that. She's
I
got
get it.
I don't think they've just shifted.
But yeah, I think it is just like they're trying to be like, look, she's cool.
I think they're trying to do that more to Zemo than anyone.
I completely forgot in that episode until he starts tearing everybody up that he was a soldier. Just completely forgot about it, because he puts on that mask and I was like, this is it. He's going to betray them and he's going to be an absolute goner. But he jumps down, starts tearing everybody up, and then he gets that sick car.
I completely forgot about that as well.
I love that he just has loads of cars. They just loves cars.
They've just made him. He's just a bit of and he's got his long coat as well. They're turning him into a pimp.
That fight scene as well definitely sort of still supports how much control he has in the situation, because he gets the high ground and then he uses his surroundings to his advantage and gets them all out of a sticky situation. It just keeps confirming that this man, everyone's underestimating him still because he's just a man, but he's so much more than that. And I still think he has got all the power in the show from this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, and then at the end, we get the big reveal of AO, the second in command of the Dora Milaje from Wakanda, has been tracking them. And I mean, obviously they won't be happy about Bucky breaking Zemo out, considering he did murder their king.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's just another it's a nice little cameo because no one expected anything to do with Black Panther to be in this, but I still think it's just going to be another obstacle for the protagonist to essentially get around to achieving their mission. She's just going to want Zemo, and then it's not. I don't think it's going to go as far as we think. Maybe they'll get into some sort of minor skirmish with her in some way, like a non-lethal type thing.
I think if it was going to be a bigger part of the show, then they probably would have. It would have been Okoye, and not AO. So I wouldn't expect this to be maybe even last more than one episode.
I'd completely forgotten that we'd seen this person before. Like I saw her, and I was like, "Oh, that's just a random person from Wakanda." And then I googled it, and I was like, "Oh no, we have seen this person before."
Yes, been in like 3 movies now.
Maybe they'll use it as some kind of way to get Bucky further away from the Winter Soldier and becoming, what's he called, the White Wolf or something?
White Wolf, yeah.
White Wolf, yeah.
Because is that I don't understand. Is he? Oh, my thought's gone already. I was in the middle of forming a thought and it just already dissipated.
Slipped.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe White. Is there a White Panther? I think I was getting them confused.
There's White Tiger.
White Panther in the White Tiger, yeah, in the comics. I think I was getting confused.
Right, so should we rate this thing?
Yeah.
I think he's been pretty consistent again with the last 2 episodes. I think I gave an 8.5 to episode 2, so I'm gonna go with an 8 for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with an 8 as well. I think it's not the only thing that really is taking away that 0.5 for me is just the pacing of the whole Madripoor thing. I really liked it. I didn't think it was ill-fitting. I thought it was like a cool place. I just thought maybe, he literally says, "Let's go to Madripoor," and then they're just there. A place that's never been mentioned to us before in the MCU, and like felt like there could have been more build up to it. That's literally my only issue. So we'll give it an 8.
Calvin?
I think I'm going to go for a 7 on this one.
Oh,
just the whole Madripoor bit, I felt like they were just asking a bit too much of us to buy into. I want a new location to sort of feel fully realized and something I can believe in, because if the world essentially doesn't believe in itself, then why should its audience? So for that reason, I give it a 7.
Yeah, I think this will just act as the setup for Madripoor, and we might see it later on, if not in this, in something else. Reese?
Yeah, hopefully they elaborate it more.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8 as well, because there were a few things that weren't great, and they went to Madripoor and there wasn't even a hint at any mutants. And I'm still holding out for some mutants.
We need to stop expecting.
And until I get them,
X-Men
I will not be happy with anything that happens.
X-Men's years away, I'm telling you. Years away.
Give me one. Just give me some guy just in a corner doing something weird with a card, so I can be like, and don't. I'm going to acknowledge it. Have it happen. I'd be happy.
They'll probably give you, if they're going to give you anything, they'll give you someone with a really rogue power, like just some guy in the corner who can just melt.
Yeah, it won't be anyone we know.
Yeah.
He can just melt.
Yeah, he can just melt.
Just melts away.
Like, himself or other things?
Just himself. It won't be anyone significant. It won't be like Cyclops, like fucking eye beaming a log fire for Jean. It'll be a man who melts.
Yeah, but wouldn't Madripoor be like the perfect place to introduce Gambit? Like the seedy place to one of the seediest.
Yeah, not on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
No,
but like,
phase
not like
4.
as a big character. So have him in the background.
He is a big character though. You can't have Gambit as an extra.
He only had a bit part in that Wolverine film.
Oh, you just need
talk about that film.
You could literally, but they'll probably do that though. In Madripoor, they could have just had a French man in the corner and being like, "Oh my god, is that Falcon?" And then you'd be like, "Oh my god, it's Gambit."
Thanks as always for listening, guys. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Keeping It Real UK. From there, you can find links to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Please like, rate, and subscribe where you can. If you are watching on YouTube, then we want to know what you thought of this latest episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So head down to the comments and let us know. We'll see you again on Wednesday for our spoiler review of Godzilla vs. Kong. Until then, if you're liking our podcast, please share it around. It really helps us out and we'd really appreciate it. Bye for now.